LA Sparks forward and center Candace Parker joins me here on Cal's Corner. Candace, good morning, and thank you so much for taking the time out of the day to chat with me. How's it going today?
Everything's good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Candace, before we get to everything during your current year, I want to go back and revisit, your early prime years. And obviously, with you growing up with two older brothers, with Anthony and Marcus, were you sort of that tag-along kid with Anthony and Marcus when you were younger playing sports and, above all, competing against your brothers at such a young age, too?
Yeah, I was a tag-along kid. I grew up in gyms with my little play box behind bleachers at their AAU tournaments and soccer games, and I was definitely the tag-along little sister and wanted to do everything my older brothers did.
Now I was the same way too with my older brother as well. Now, CP, you grew up in a time where your hometown Chicago Bulls were the darlings of the NBA with Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson at the helm. But who was your favorite player, though, growing up on those Chicago Bull teams of the 90s?
My favorite player was, in fact, Ron Harper. I was in awe of the way that he just controlled the game, and a lot of people forget that when he used to play against Michael Jordan when he was with Cleveland, and even in his later years with Detroit, he really did a good job defending him and things like that. So I just loved the way he played, and he was actually my favorite player on the Chicago Bulls.
Now, obviously, a lot of people would say, well, Candace, you had Michael Jordan, but you brought up good points about Ron Harper. Was there anything else about Ron that you liked, whether it was his work ethic or how he was with the media and the fans at all, that sort of got your attention?
Definitely. I think that he was really, good with the Chicago fans. I got a chance to take a picture with him, and just in meeting him, he was extremely nice. So I just followed the Bulls, and everybody, if you put me in a room with Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Ron Harper, I was probably in Ron Harper's corner. Now, don't get me wrong, I did love Michael Jordan and all the things that he did, but I really respected, Ron Harper.
Yeah, Ron Harper, one of my favorite players to do in the NBA. Now, Candace, if we go back to you, growing up with Marcus and Anthony, at their games and everything else, it took you until your last year of middle school to fully commit to playing basketball after your family actually convinced you to play. What sport, though, was your first true love before basketball even came into your life?
Basketball and volleyball were my two loves. Soccer and volleyball were my two loves. I really played, my first sport was soccer. Idolized Mia Hamm. Couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to be, if I was going to be in the Olympics, I would have said at that age, I wanted to play soccer. And I think that I really have benefited from that sport because of just footwork and agility and things that you learn playing that sport. Volleyball, I kind of picked up in middle school. I was in 7th grade, and so soccer and volleyball were my two sports. And then towards the end of middle school, I kind of fell in love with basketball. And I continued playing volleyball and basketball through my sophomore year in high school. And then I just was like, I got to just focus on basketball. And so I quit volleyball my sophomore year. And, in fact, my first letter that I got from the University of Tennessee was from volleyball. It wasn't from basketball.
A lot of people may not know that fact about you, is volleyball was before basketball at UT. Now, Candace, you and I actually have a similar trait in regards that when we were both growing up playing sports, that we happened to have really tough fathers on us. Can you tell my listeners, or our listeners, I should say, how tough your dad was on you, though, growing up, though, as far as practicing basketball and training to get you ready for high school and even college and beyond college days?
Well, I think growing up, my dad saw that I really cared, about doing well, just both on the court and off the court. And so he was hard on me across the board, just in terms of what he expected and, obviously as my coach, that carried on to the basketball court. But my mom and dad both were, expected a lot from us as their kids and wanted us to do our very best. And if we didn't, they were very disappointed in us. And then on the basketball court, my dad, he would get on me a lot about, just different things I did on the court because he expected so much. And so we had many nights where we weren't speaking, or, the car ride home was very quiet because I was angry at him, but it paid off in the long run, for sure.
Absolutely. It always pays off in the end. So, Candace, you go and attend Naperville Central High School. You win 2 state titles. You're named the USA Today Player of the Year, and then you win the Naismith and Gatorade Player of the Year. Is this a point in time where you kind of thought to yourself, or other people like your teammates or classmates kind of knew that, you might be destined for greatness in the future?
I really didn't focus on that. I kind of just took everything in stride, I think, and, that's the way that my parents have taught me to do, is just never take anything for granted, and, just continue to work hard, because you've never truly arrived. You always can get better. There's always room for improvement. And, in high school, I don't think I was treated any different by my teammates or my coaches. There's time for reflection, for sure. When we won our first state championship, we worked so hard to get to that point. All the individual awards, it was great. And, they make nice, decoration in the trophy cases. But what I really love is, obviously winning championships. And, we were able to do that twice in high school.
We are visiting with LA Sparks All-Star forward and center Candace Parker on Cal's Corner. Now, Candace, we're going to go to the 2004 McDonald's All-American game, which I know a lot of people first heard of you when you did beat out a few male competitors in the dunk contest. Now, I'm pretty sure this was not really probably a breakthrough moment, but do you believe, though, that, okay, it was a female competitor beating out, 3 male competitors in a dunk contest? Is this sort of a breakthrough moment for you, or more so for future women's basketball players going forward into the future?
I think it was a good moment for females in general. I believe that whatever positive attention can come to the sport, it's good for the game. And, at that point, I believe that McDonald's was like, for women, they didn't have a McDonald's All-American game, but 3 years before that, 4 years before that, was the first, was the inaugural game. So I think just gaining attention and gaining publicity from that aspect, it was good. And, now it's fun to see, I'm dating myself here, but like 9-10 years later of McDonald's, how big it's become and how fun and great of an experience it is for, the best players on the men's side as well as the women.
I totally agree with that. So after high school finishes, you've got your list, of course, of where you're going to be going to school, and you narrowed it down. But you chose to commit to UT, the University of Tennessee. What stood out in your mind, though, as you made up your list, and what made you choose UT over the other schools you considered?
I really honestly think it was just Tennessee as a whole. Getting the whole experience of college, the entire experience. Going there, I really believe that Tennessee is a college town, and they support their sports, as well as just putting myself in the best position as a student athlete, being able to be supported by a coach, by a team, by a program, by fans, by the community. And I think that Tennessee just had everything. And so that's why I committed there. And I wanted to play in front of packed gym every night, both at home and on the road. And I truly believe that, Tennessee is America's team. And so it was fun to be a part of that and, just to experience that.
So, Candace, you guys go on to win back-to-back national titles, and you were also named tournament MVP. You joined some pretty good company between Cheryl Miller, Shamika Holsclaw, and Diana Taurasi as the only female players to accomplish that feat. As you look back, how special, though, were your days at Tennessee?
My days at Tennessee were very special, and I think it takes some reflection, to kind of graduate, be out of Tennessee for a while to really, truly appreciate my experience there. I think that, when I first kind of was going through everything. Everything was happening so fast, you know. We won the championship, and then we were kind of on to, like, defending our championship. And then, you know, once we won our next championship, the next day I got drafted, and then I was off to LA, and then, you know, everything started. So, you know, I think it's really, I got a chance to really step away and really appreciate the experiences I had there, the relationships that I built, and the teammates that I still stay in touch with. And, you know, that Lady Vols are truly a family.
Cal's Corner here, visiting with LA Sparks All-Star forward and center Candace Parker. Now, Candace, you did just bring up that days after the Victory Epic Tournament, you were the 2008 #1 overall draft pick in the WNBA draft by the Los Angeles Sparks. Of course, I got to ask, you know, what was your reaction to, above all, being one, but also going to play for a marquee WNBA franchise out here in Los Angeles?
You know, LA was where I wanted to go. You know, I remember when they had the lottery, and, you know, I was definitely hoping for LA to get the pick, you know, and to choose me. And, you know, when they called my name, it was just kind of like, all these emotions, you know, all the hard work. And ever since I was 11, I kind of dreamed of that moment. And to be, you know, to be there, to be able to share it with my family, and it was just an amazing moment.
So was there like a little small fist pump when LA won the lottery?
I was just at that point switching to I hope they choose me, because there are obviously 2008 had a stacked draft. You know, obviously there were some great picks in that draft, and I was just hoping that they decided to go with me. And, you know, towards the end, obviously, I was hoping that I was healthy to play. You know.
Yeah, I think the 08 3-C was probably just 10 shoulders better than last year's 3-C. So, Candace, a lot of people, though, want to know, myself included, but also other people have asked, though, who helped you the most, though, during your rookie season? Was it Lisa Leslie, or was it Coach Michael Cooper?
No, I think that everybody helped me grow, and everybody helped me, you know, try to reach my potential. I think Michael Cooper was a great coach, and he pushed me and challenged me. He kind of reminded me a little bit of my dad and my father, of the way he coached me. You know, I would come off the court and think I did it great, and he would be like, but you can do better. You know, there was always a challenge in front of us and in front of me, and so I think that he helped me grow in that aspect. And Lisa Leslie, she helped me grow a great deal as well, because, you know, she pushed me on the court. She was able to kind of like play against me and to make me, and to challenge me, and to motivate me, you know, while playing alongside me as well.
So I would assume you had butterflies in your stomach your first game you play against the defending champion Mercury in Phoenix at U.S. Airways Center. But you go out there, CP, and you light them up for 34 points, 12 and 8, and you set the rookie record for points in your first game. Be honest here. I mean, how special was your first game you played, you know, about 7-8 seasons ago?
It was really special. I think it was just more so excitement, because that was my first WNBA game, you know, and I was excited to play. You know, at that point, there were questions. I hurt my shoulder in college, and, you know, they were kind of questioning whether I was going to be able to go out there and play in the WNBA and to, you know, be healthy enough to play a whole season. And, you know, to be able to start off the season in that fashion, I think the thing that I was happiest about was just my assists. You know, I love facilitating and getting my teammates involved, and to this day, I think that's the highest assist I've had. So I obviously got to get back doing that. But you know, it was a great win, great stage, and I think it started off the season very well.
Now, that wasn't the only good game you played your rookie season. Looking ahead to June 22nd against Indiana, you joined joined Lisa Leslie in becoming the second player in league history to actually slam dunk in a game. Now, I'm pretty sure that probably put yourself on the map even more in the WNBA. But do you believe, though, that after, okay, we know about the dunk in 04, but I mean the dunk here now in the WNBA, do you think that's probably what made you into a household name as far as it goes in the league, more so than when you first dunked in 2004?
I don't know. That's for the fans to debate. You know, I think it was definitely good for the game. You know, I know it got the LA fans excited. And, you know, I think I've dunked back-to-back back-to-back that year, and those are the last two dunks that I put down. So I obviously got to get back to doing that and get my legs back right. But I think it was good for the game, and I think it'll continue to grow, and you'll see more and more girls dunking on basketball.
So after the season ends, there's more accolades for you in your first season. You join two basketball Hall of Famers. You join Wilt Chamberlain and Wes Unseld as being the only players to ever win both the Rookie of the Year and the League MVP. Okay, it was probably one deal to win Rookie of the Year, but also, how did you react to winning both Rookie of the Year and League MVP in the same season?
You know, I will never forget when the commissioner at the time, Donna Orander, she called me and, you know, she told me that I won Rookie of the Year. And, you know, I was excited. I was like, thank you. You know, this is a great honor to be one of the, you know, the best rookies, considered the best rookie this season. You know, blah, blah, blah. So, and she told me that, you know, obviously, actually, there's more history to be made that, you know, you won MVP as well. And I just remember being in shock. And I wasn't allowed to tell anybody, but kind of broke the rules a little bit and told my brothers and my mom and my dad. And, you know, everybody was just so excited. And, you know, I think I really didn't truly understand how special it was until I got kind of a few years out and was able to kind of reflect on it. But, you know, it's something that I look at as motivation, you know, every day. And I want to get, you know, obviously become a better player every day, and it pushes me to never settle. So I think I was truly humbled by that award. You know, obviously in the future going forward, I hope to add more team awards in the trophy case. But, you know, a couple more of those wouldn't be so bad either.
Again, folks, we're joined by LA Sparks All-Star forward and center Candace Parker here on Cal's Corner. Now, Candace, going to year two, at the start of the 09 season, of course, you missed the first 8 games because you gave birth to your awesome daughter, Layla. Now, a lot of people have asked me to ask you this question. How long did it take for you to get back into playing shape, and what obstacles, though, did you face during the course of that first season after giving birth to your daughter?
You know, having my daughter was the best thing that ever happened. You know, she is such a blessing, and I love her so much. And I remember when I first found out that I was pregnant with her, you know, just the excitement and the fact that she would be able to grow up and see my career, see me when I was playing, and it wouldn't just be, you know, me talking about when I'm older, you know, that she would actually grow up and be a part of it. And I wouldn't change anything for the world. I think that this has been an amazing journey with her by my side. And, you know, missing those first eight games was tough for me, and obviously recovering and getting back from gaining so much weight and, you know, having another human being was definitely a challenge and the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. You know, with all the injuries that I've gone through and all the rehab and things like that, your body changes so much when you have a child. And, you know, I think it just, for me, it was motivation to show that, you know, women can come back and they can play after having a child, and that, you know, we're strong and talented, and, you know, nothing against the male sex, but I do feel that women are, you know, strong and can come back and can do something that obviously men can't do.
Exactly. Now, from 09 to 2010 and 2011, CP, there's a few minor bumps in the road. A shoulder injury, a torn meniscus, kept you out for half a season and almost for a full season in 10 and 11. Two things here. How tough was it for you to watch the games from the sidelines, and how was the rehab process like coming back from both those injuries?
It was really tough. You know, I think just mentally for me, I was ready to play. I was sick of being injured. I had been injured in college, and I had to sit out my freshman year. And then when I got to the league, I knew eventually I was going to have shoulder surgery. So I think after that next year, I was kind of prepared in 2010 to be out, you know, and my shoulder had been bothering me. It had been coming out when I was sleeping, and it was just not a way to live when you're 22, 23 years old. So I decided to have surgery and, you know, got a minor cleanup of my knee at the same time and stuff like that. And I was ready to go in 2011. I remember being in the best shape that I had been in and, you know, being raw, you know, ready and strong, and was playing well at the beginning of the season. And, you know, I banged knees in New York, and went down with a torn meniscus in my right knee, and that was the first time I had hurt my right knee. And I was devastated. I'd worked so hard. I had been out. It was really difficult to deal with injuries at that point. And so, obviously I just used it as motivation and just was like, I was dealt this hand, and it depends on how I handle it going forward. And so I just decided to have a good attitude and work as hard as I could, and was able to come back, the next year and have a pretty good season.
So looking back at the previous 2 years, 2012 and 2013, you basically guide the team to back-to-back 24-10 seasons. You rack up your second WNBA MVP award, plus the All-Star Game MVP award in Connecticut in 2013. But as the regular season ends, the postseason has been basically a house of horrors for not just yourself, but for the Sparks in recent years, where you guys falter in 2012 to a pretty loaded Minnesota team, and then, of course, falter to a rebuilt Phoenix team, all by 1 point in deciding Game 3s. Now, I remember watching the roundtable that you and Maya Moore were at the All-Star Game in Phoenix, saying that, every possession matters, and that was, a great quote that I remember pulling out of there. But in your mind, though, what sticks out in your mind, and what do you think went wrong, though, for you guys in 2012 and 2013 in the postseason when it counted the most?
I really feel like you learn something from every season and every experience. Obviously we've had devastating losses. This year, in fact, the Game 1, could have changed the series. It could have changed it, it couldn't have. You never know. But, I think in the crunch time, we as a team, me as an individual, we have to get better at, closing out games. And so I think that that's something going forward from now on that I'm focusing on, and it's on my mind heavy. And, what we've learned from those devastating experiences, and had a couple in my career, but, it's great that, I've still been able to have more opportunities.
Completely agreed, 100%. Things sometimes just don't click right in the postseason, and anything basically happens. Now, going from the WNBA CP real quick, I wanted to get to the international stage. And I know that you're unfortunately sidelined for the FIBA tournament coming up over the weekend over there in Istanbul because of another minor knee surgery. But looking at the bigger stage, though, for the Olympic Games, how special was it for you to be able to play for the national team at the 08 and 12 Olympic Games, and above all, win 2 gold medals?
It was a great experience. That's something that I dreamed of ever since I was a little kid. I remember when I watched the first Olympics that I can remember, it was in '96. And, I remember I believe it was in Atlanta at that time, and I was into soccer, so I was definitely watching Mia Hamm and the women's national team win the gold medal in an exciting fashion, I might add. But I remember watching the basketball team. I remember watching Lisa Leslie. I remember watching Teresa Edwards. I remember watching Dawn Staley. And, I remember watching them get their medals, and me telling my dad, I would love to get a gold medal at the Olympics. And that experience is second to none. When they first put the gold medal around my neck, it was just amazing, because that's what you dream of as a little girl. And to be a part of that was amazing.
Again, folks, we are privileged to be joined here by LA Sparks forward and center Candace Parker here on Cal's Corner. Now, Candace, going back to this previous off-season and year, I know that you were over in Ekaterinburg. You came home for a bit because you were honored at UT when you had your jersey number retired at Tennessee. So, got to ask, how special was it for you to have your number retired by the Lady Vols?
It was extremely special. When I was a player there, I was always looking to the right in the rafters where the banners were. I wasn't really focused on the jerseys to the left. I was always looking up at the banners and wanting to put as many national championship banners up there as possible. And so I think just having my jersey retired is icing on the cake. We were able to win 2 national championships. At the time, we didn't realize that would be Coach Summit's last national championship coaching, and it's amazing and historical to be a part of that. We were a special team. We were a special group, and it was fun to be a part of that, and then to go back and have my whole family at my jersey retirement. I think that's the most special, to be able to show my daughter, look, there's Mommy's number, up in the rafter, and she would be like, forever, it's going to be up there forever, and I would be like, yes, Layla, it is. And she was excited to be a part of that, to be able to take my nephews back and to show them where their aunt played, and for them to be excited and to share with my brother, my dad, and my mom, and everybody. So, and it was great to see Coach. Coach was there, there for the jersey retirement. So just the whole experience in itself was very special. To be able to walk on that court one last time, in front of all the Tennessee fans.
Yeah, one very special moment I'm sure you'll never forget anytime soon. Then, of course, Candace, there's, it is a talking point, of course, with the previous offseason again. Around the new year, we do hear, though, that Paula Madison and the Sparks ownership group will relinquish control of the franchise, and, of course, they sent us fans into panic mode about the future. When you first got the call or got the email about the ownership leaving, what was your first reaction about that?
I was in shock because it was right before my jersey retirement, so I was a little confused and didn't know what was going on. There was a time there where we had no idea whether we were even going to be in Los Angeles or where we were going to be. But I believe that sometimes you just have to let things play out, and things happen for a reason. Things happen not always the way you want them to, but the way they're supposed to. And, you can't change stuff, so you just have to roll with it. And I think it ends up being a better situation. And I love the ownership group. I think that they're really into making, Los Angeles Sparks, into a great franchise and an organization that's going to be a winner. And that's, what we all want to be a part of. So I'm extremely excited.
So after 35 days of silence, you hear the news on February 5th that Magic Johnson, Mark Walters, Stan Kasten come forward to rescue you guys from contraction or implosion, basically. How did you react to hearing the news about Magic and Mark and Stan buying the franchise?
It was a relief. There were times that, it was questions whether we were going to be in LA. I've made LA home, so I kind of wanted to be here to enjoy it. And, it was the excitement. I think the best possible owners bought our team. This is the way it's supposed to be. And for them to have that type of support, to show that type of support, and to have that amount of interest in buying us, I think it'll be a great team, going forward.
What does it mean to you and your teammates to know that you do have the backing and support of not only an NBA icon, Candace, but a Los Angeles icon as your team's owner, which is Magic Johnson?
I think I was more excited the fact that, we had owners that had won championships, that had rings. Not just Magic, but, everybody in that group has been a part of, some sort of championship. And, I think that you need some type of guidance for people that have been there before and know what it takes. And obviously, being able to sit down with Magic Johnson and pick his brain about just different things. And, obviously, I was a Chicago Bulls fan, and I told him that initially, but, I obviously respected him as a player and loved, watching him. And my dad made sure that I knew, the players that played before me. And so it was just a lot of fun, to sit down and talk with them and to have them, buy our franchise.
Absolutely. Again, folks, joined here by LA Sparks forward and center, Candace Parker here on Cal's Corner now. Candace, as we both know very well, as we look at the league now, as we both well know, of course, with the WNBA, which has really struggled to attract the crowds they've wanted and the home audiences since it tipped off back in '97. Candace, what are you hoping for, though, in the future for the WNBA as we move towards the future years and generations of WNBA and women's basketball players?
I think that the game is growing. It's growing every year. The talent level is getting bigger, stronger, faster. And I think that, obviously every sports league, they look at it in comparison to a sports league that's been around for 60, 70, 80 years, MLB. And I think they just have to understand that, the NBA was still on tape delay, in the 80s. Their championship game was still on tape delay. So give it a chance to grow. And, I think that, my daughter's generation and the generation following will continue to benefit from it.
I think the future generations are going to be in good hands. Now, Now, Candace, I've watched the women's game for about the past 10 years, and as you may know, I followed your career, but also followed Diana Taurasi's career very closely since you guys were both in college. And it just seems like, though, that the male demographic of sports fans have always seemed to give you guys in the WNBA a hard time since the league started. But how fulfilling is it, though, for yourself and other players to know that there are some male sports fans that actually go to your games, they'll watch games on television, or like what I'm doing, wear your jersey on a day-to-day basis?
It means a lot, to see that the next generation, my daughter's generation, there are a lot of young boys that come wearing my jersey. My nephew wore my jersey to school for, Jersey Day at school. So I think, to see that, it means a lot. And I think that it'll just continue to get more and more. To watch a sport, you can, learn a lot from it, and you can make an opinion. My thing is if you've never watched the game, then don't have an opinion on something you don't know. So, give it a go, give it a shot, watch it, and I think you'll respect it.
You know what? That's exactly what Larry Burnett said when he was on my radio show a few months ago, is give the league a chance before you make your opinion. Candace, one more question before we move on to some viewer-inspired questions before we do let you go. I know you've got a few more things to do during the course of today. But Candace, after your playing days are done and over with, what do you see yourself doing in the future?
That is a really good question. I think right now I'm just gaining as much information about after basketball. I toyed with doing some broadcasting. I toyed with being an agent. I toyed with coaching. I toyed with being, front office position. So I think right now I'm just trying to go out and experience as much as I can. I've shadowed some different people. I've gone to some different training camps, and just trying to figure out what exactly I want to do. Right now I'm playing overseas, so it makes it a little tough to get out and really experience, life after basketball. But I'm kind of a person that can't really sit still or sit tight very long. So I have to do something exciting and kind of switch it up a little bit.
I prefer option A. I think you'd be a good fit in the broadcast booth sometime very soon. Now, Candace, a few people wanted me to ask you a few things, which is like the favorite questions. So we'll kind of do a little rapid fire here real quick, and then they gave me a challenge too to see if I can name all your favorite pro sports teams. But we'll get to your favorites though first. Let everyone know your favorite. Let's get moving here. Favorite pregame meal?
Salmon, green beans, and sweet potato.
All right. Your favorite hobby?
Favorite hobby would probably be, currently it's probably playing ping pong. That's probably my favorite.
Which I have no skill in case anyone's wondering. Your favorite away game city?
Atlanta or Chicago? That's tough. Probably Chicago. It's at home.
I knew you'd say Chicago. What was your favorite school and or college subject?
My favorite, honestly, is probably business law. I really enjoy, actually toyed with being a lawyer, but I don't know if I could do that. But I like the law aspect of everything, and all the shows that are Law and Order and all.
Yeah, Law and Order. Yourself and my mom would be best friends if you guys watched that show together.
Yes.
All right. Who's your... Oh, actually, I skipped over one. What is your favorite LA restaurant?
My favorite LA restaurant is definitely Crustaceans. That is a must-go.
Okay. Two more here before we got to get to my side of the story here about trying to name these teams. Okay. There's a lot to choose from here, CP. Who's your favorite Sparks teammate?
That is tough. It's a 20-way tie or 11-way tie. No, I don't have a favorite. Obviously, I think that everybody is, special, and I have a good relationship with a lot of my teammates. Probably I'll tell you my best teammate friend so far has probably been Jenna O'Hay. Her and I talk almost every day, and she played for Seattle Storm this year. So, she's probably my teammate that I keep in touch with the most.
And it's not ironic at all that you two would be sitting next to each other on the episode of Hell's Kitchen that aired on Wednesday night on Fox down here. So I could totally agree with that one. One more real quick for your favorites. Is there a favorite opposing or overseas teammate you have? And if so, who is it and why?
Favorite opposing overseas teammate?
It could be either one. Is there like a favorite teammate or a opposing player you like playing against? Or, okay, I'll rephrase it. Who's your favorite teammate to play with over in Ekaterinburg?
Sandra Gruda, definitely. She has been, we've been teammates overseas for 6 years, and, you know, we spent a lot of time overseas in Russia together and just hanging out, stuff like that.
Is there any one particular player you like to play against at all in the WNBA at all? Is there like one player that sticks out in your mind that you love facing every time you play her?
We have a lot of different rivalries that are in the WNBA, you know, teams that get up for and want to play, you know, extremely well against. So I wouldn't say that there's one particular.
All right, well that's a fair answer. Now everyone wants me to see if I can sort of, you know, pick your brain about, you know, your favorite sports teams. You know, I'm a big sports junkie, as everyone knows. So, Naperville, Illinois, I would assume your family had to be Cubs fans. Am I correct?
Yes, we were Cubs fans. You're right.
And of course, when you come out here, you got to root for those Dodgers. Of course, nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Now, I think the only team that we can see eye to eye on here is the Bears. I think that's pretty evident.
I love the Bears. You're exactly right.
Yes, the Bears. Bulls and Lakers?
The Bulls, I'm sad. I like the Lakers. I think they're great. I can't say that I cheered for them when I was younger. But the Bulls are probably my team, like my NBA team.
Oh, of course, yes.
You know, obviously, and I love watching Kobe play, and I love the Lakers franchise, but I can't say that I rooted for them.
Yeah, I think everyone can agree with that one. Now, I'm not too sure if you're a big hockey nut, but I would assume you guys had to be Blackhawk fans, right?
If we did watch hockey, correct. We did cheer for the Blackhawks.
Anything you want to say about the LA Kings? 2 cups in 3 years at all, or what do you think?
They're all right. The Kings are right.
Okay, and then of course, I mean, you know, with you being, you know, with you playing soccer in the early days, I'm not sure if you watch too much MLS, but Chicago Fire's got to be there, and also the Galaxy's got to be there too, right?
Yes, I was a huge Chicago Fire fan growing up. Went to a lot of their games. In fact, when their stadium was being, you know, renovated in Chicago, they actually played in Naperville for a year. So I was able to see a lot of their games and go, you know, watch them play. And my favorite player at the time, Razov, was playing there, so I got to meet him. Kobe Jones came into town a couple times, so it was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, as was today's interview. Candace Parker, all-star forward and center from the WNBA's LA Sparks, taking time out of her busy Friday to join us here on Cal's Corner. Candace, thank you very much for joining us. It's not every day I can sit down with a professional athlete that's got quite a resume, you know, at such a young age too. Again, 2-time MVP, 4-time all-first team, you know, 2-time all-defensive second team, a 3-time all-star, 2-time rebounding champion. Candace, thank you so much for joining me today. Really do appreciate your tremendous work ethic and everything else included. You're probably one of the most motivational athletes that gives not just, you know, females but males this, you know, the same insight of, you know, being motivated and always staying on your game. Thank you very much. Hope your knee feels better, and I will see you sometime next summer back up there at Staples Center.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.